Hello, welcome to Zero Production Value Movie Reviews, unfiltered, uncut, unedited. My name is Hoernke. Today we'll be discussing On Golden Pond from 1981, directed by Mark Rydell. This is part of my ongoing project to watch all Best Picture nominees. I had originally done a project where I'm just going to watch all Best Picture winners, then go back and work on nominees. But I've just expanded that. I've just decided to do the whole kit and caboodle right now and work on Best Picture nominees. And I just happen to be on the year 1981, which is why we're doing On Golden Pond, which is the last of my 5-film arc for the 1981 Best Pictures, which includes Reds, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Atlantic City, Chariots of Fire. Like I said, directed by Mark Rydell. Not a real substantial director, don't know a lot about him. He directed The Rose with Bette Midler, and that's about all I got. So this was ultimately nominated for 10 Academy Awards and won 3, both for leads in acting and for writing, which is kind of surprising. Not for the acting, writing maybe a little bit, but I think this is one of those that just Hollywood loves to, I guess, reward their own. And really I think what this movie comes down to was it was a celebration at the time of Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda in what was probably going to be their last substantial roles. And really it was, as Henry Fonda would die a year later. Katharine Hepburn would go on to live about, I think, 10 to 15 more years and do film roles in there, but nothing as substantial as the role she had here. So also let me say, On Golden Pond, not a pond. It's a very big lake. Very big lake. So that's a bit of a misnomer, On Golden Pond. You expect them to show up and have this tiny little waiting... No. Big lake. So, false advertising. In any case, so this is a very simple... I was not a fan. This is a very simple melodrama, but even calling it melodrama, it's so basic in its dramatic focus that it almost is disingenuous to call it drama. I mean, it is that simplistic. It is just at the lake doing stuff with this elderly couple, you know, following this stuff that old people do. And I'm not here to disparage the elderly. In fact, there have been some very good shows, you know, regarding with an older lead actors, older couples. It is a celebration of their love over the course of however many years they've been together, quite a long time. It seems to always been together, but it just doesn't make for very interesting, dynamic television or movies. And so we're introduced to Norman and Ethel Thayer as they show up at their lake house, and they're just going about doing stuff that they do every year. Ethel seems to be the supreme loving life optimist, out picking strawberries, doing whatever. Norman is the standard old curmudgeon. He doesn't seem to really have or possess any joy in life much anymore, and he is constantly, I think he's very afraid of where he is at in life. He knows he's old, he knows he's reaching that point, he is starting to become senile. I think in 1981 we hadn't really, I mean, I'm sure they had been diagnosed, but we didn't really have Alzheimer's and dementia as part of our standard lexicon of talking about stuff. We just talked about senility and old people forgetting stuff. And he is definitely at that point where he wanders out and he forgets what he's doing, and it scares the ever-loving crap out of him. You know, and he knows he's getting to that point, and that's a big part of what drives probably his dour outlook on life and his curmudgeonly relationship to just about everybody. And Ethel just kind of lets it all lets it all like brush off her shoulder. It's all like dirt off her shoulder. She doesn't really seem to care too much. But in another stroke of real world drama, kind of winking, Jane Fonda shows up as their in the movie daughter, and obviously he is Henry Fonda's daughter, and she has had a horrible relationship with him over the years. He might not seem to think so, but she really does. She's always felt like less than adequate in his eyes, and always seems to go off in some state of not being happy with where their relationship is. So the Thayers are at their lake house. Chelsea, played by Jane Fonda, shows up with her new boyfriend, played by Dabney Coleman, and his young son, not her son, his son. And they head off to Europe, leaving the adolescent, not really young, adolescent, like a 12, 13-year-old boy, and he's cocksure, very, very full of himself in his adolescent manhood. But through the course of the summer, they actually begin to bond. He begins to bond with Norman, and at the end of the day, they all come to really love one another. And the height of the dramatic tension is a boating accident that and also Norman basically has like falls down and could be need help, and then he's just like, oh, I'm better. And that's like the height of the dramatic tension right there. And then once Chelsea returns and she sees that he's bonded with young Billy, she gets really upset that here over the course of the summer he's managed to bond with this adolescent boy, and she has never managed to reach what she thinks is this cold, frigid heart. And you know what? She jumps on the diving board, does a backflip, and that's it. It's like the relationship is repaired, all is forgiven, and maybe really not, but we're kind of led to believe that, and it's just all so simplistic. And yeah, so not really my cup of tea. Ultimately, why did this picture get all the attention and the accolades it did? Like I said in the beginning, I think this was all about Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda. You put two other leads in there, even two other older actor leads that aren't these two, Hollywood royalty, Hollywood icons of the golden era of Hollywood. And this is everybody just bowing down and paying homage to them. And as well they should. I mean, I do give them credit for that. And they won, Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn both won for their roles, their acting roles. Fine. But nominated for Best Picture? No. So ultimately, I give On Golden Pond a D+. I'm not saying that you can't have quaint Hollywood melodrama featuring older people. That's not what this review is trying to say. But I'm saying if you do it, you do need to do it in some interesting way, or capture it so that it's just not bland, basic, and boring. And if you take the two leads out of it, this entire project is just nowhere. Well, that's my review of On Golden Pond. I hope you liked it. Feel free to disagree with me, comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope to get more content out to you soon. Thanks for watching.